my fellow wizards! As of August 1st, the new event, Fantastic Fight Fest, has officially launched and includes a new event pass and rewards including cosmetic items, gear, treasure cards, reagents, and even a permanent mount. However, while in theory this event should be a great way for players to earn some cool new stuff, it has already had numerous issues and bugs which have put a bit of a damper on the entire thing. So today I'll be reviewing how the event works, all the rewards you can earn, and discussing what needs to be fixed going forward. Let's talk about it. First, the Fantastic Fight Fest is a bit unique in that it lasts the entire month of August compared to other existing events, which usually only last a week at a time. You earn points for the event by participating in Team Up in the featured world, which changes daily. So for instance, the first day the featured world was Marleybone, and on later days they also did Imperia, Dragonspire, Mirage, and so on. To begin, you can talk to Manfred Mander in Krakatopia near the shops, and he also allows you to trade event currency for various rewards. Each day you can earn up to 36 points if you do all the activities. These include earning 18 points per day by using the Join Team button on the event pass and completing whatever instance in the featured world it sticks you in twice a day, and then you get another 18 points per day by teaming up in the featured world. However, note you do need to be at least level 30 to use the Join Team option, so lower levels may not be able to fully participate. If you haven't visited a featured world yet, you will be scaled up to the world's level if you join a team. However, you won't get experience, loot, or badge progress in doing so, but you will get event credit. It also looks like you will not get credit for teaming up in the featured world unless you join via the team-up kiosk in Old Town. If you join via a sigil, it will not give you credit. So this is how the event is intended to work, but of course there's a number of bugs making this all a lot more complicated, which I'll touch on in a later section, so bear with me. By earning event points, you can then redeem a new currency called Fight Fest coins from the event pass. The first 6 rewards give you 80 Fight Fest coins each, then the last 5 reward tiers give you 55 Fight Fest coins each, and if you earn all the rewards, you'll get 755 Fight Fest coins total per event per wizard. You'll need to complete the event on each of your wizards to get rewards, since the Fight Fest coins are not tradable for some reason, so keep that in mind. Although KI did just add a patch that allows you to trade the gear from the event, so that's at least a small improvement. I will say though that the math ain't exactly mathin' between the different point reward totals, as Iridian Willowglen helpfully pointed out on Twitter. Like, why are there bizarre jumps between different rewards? In addition to the coins earned from the event pass, you can also talk to Manfred every day and hit the collect coins button to earn 5 extra coins per day. So if you do that every day of the month to earn your 5 daily coins, that's an extra 155 coins for the month of August, or 910 coins total if you do absolutely everything, which isn't too shabby. So far, we've covered your individual progress, where you earn event points for doing team up every day, but then there's also the community progress, which comes in 4 waves, 1 for each week of the month. To unlock access to better rewards in Manfred's shop to spend your Fight Fest coins on, the community needs to earn enough points to hit the next wave. And you can see the community progress and what wave we're currently on at the top of the event pass. The first week, or at basically wave 0, it looks like you can only exchange your coins for some of the reagents and treasure cards. Wave 1 rewards include the cosmetic Fantastic Fight Fez and some more reagents. Wave 2 rewards include the cosmetic Fantastic Fight Fest shirt. Wave 3 rewards include the new stat wands, athames, amulets, rings, decks, and Wave 4 rewards include the new stat hat, robes, boots, and the permanent mount. So to be clear, the community needs to make enough progress each week to unlock the next wave of rewards, or players cannot buy the rewards, even if they have enough coins to do so. So community participation really is key here, for better or worse. So let's talk about the rewards more in depth. The new Fight Fest gear has the same stat template as the Unreal gear from the Polaris raid, so this event is offering a non-raid way to get it, which is nice. It comes in 4 level brackets, 50, 60, 100, and 170. However, at max level, in comparison to gear like Reaver/Avatar, you're generally losing quite a bit of damage and critical in exchange for a bit more accuracy and shadow rating. I think the main appeal of this gear is going to be the alternative jewel slots. For instance, the wand has a triangle slot, which some people may want to use for certain builds, and the athame, ring, and deck offer triangle slots instead of circle slots like the Reaver/Avatar gear. I personally still like using the Avatar/Reaver gear for my hat, boots, athame, ring, and deck, with a demonic/motorist robe, and then the fairy key wand and amulet for an offensive setup, but people may find other combos they like here. Looking at other level brackets, notable comparisons include the level 50 Fantastic Fight Fest robes, which are actually pretty much on par with the Dragonspire Tier 1 robes. They have the same damage along with more pip chance and accuracy, but you do lose out on pierce, so I could see these being an interesting alternative. The level 50 wands are pretty similar in that you gain accuracy but lose pierce compared to the Dragonspire wands. Then at level 60, the Atavistic, Waterworks, and Upper Zigzag gear are still pretty much going to be your best bet, but the Fantastic Fight Fest Athames and Rings do offer a decent amount of pip chance and different jewel slots, though at the cost of a bit of damage. Finally, at level 100, the Darkmoor and Chrysalis gear are still pretty much your best options, but again, the Fantastic Fight Fest generally offers different jewel slots and more pip chance at the cost of damage. And if you're interested in your best stat options at various levels, you can also check out my dedicated gear guides. The appearance of the new stat gear is the same as the Tier 1 level 60 Zigzag gear and in Zizor Book Wand, so nothing new there, but at least there's an alternative way to get the look for stitching purposes if you want it. Then there's the cosmetic fez and shirt, which I think are pretty cute. The fez is perfect if you feel like cosplaying Matt Smith's doctor from Doctor Who.
It's a fez. I wear a fez now. Fezes are cool.
And the shirt is cool in that it actually has the current year on it, so it's kind of a neat collectible, especially if they intend to do this event every year. The new Scarab Chariot permanent mount also looks nice with the gold lines really highlighted against the black. I'm a bit disappointed that it's basically a reskin of the Jewel Scarab mount, but it is a really nice reskin that fits with the Crocotopia theme, so I think people will want to get it, especially if it's exclusive to this event. Then there's various reagents and treasure cards with a few rare options available in there, like Diamond, 2-pip Shatter, and Triage TC, which can be a bit hard to find sometimes. There's also tourney tokens, which PvP players use to join tournaments as well. Then there's various pet jewels, including School Giver, Sniper, and Proof jewels, which give damage, accuracy, or resist, but nothing too crazy here. Finally, in Test Realm, there was supposed to be a Pharaoh cat pet with a sharpened blade item card that looked really cute, but for some reason that hasn't made it into the event in Live Realm, which is kind of a bummer because I genuinely really wanted that one. It does look like based on the pricing of a lot of these items, you should be able to earn quite a lot if you complete the full event, so I'm glad you won't have to just hoard for the permanent mount, for instance. If you get all your coins, you should definitely be able to afford multiple top tier rewards without too much difficulty. So with the rewards out of the way, let's talk pros and cons here. To be fair to this event, at least it doesn't take very much time to complete per day, unless of course you're like me and want to do it on all 7 wizards, but especially if you're just farming on one wizard, this shouldn't take you more than 5 to 10 minutes a day, and you do get plenty of the event currency to buy the rewards. And I do think a lot of the rewards are pretty cool, especially the cosmetic gear and permanent mount, and I do like that the devs are offering a non-raid way to earn the same stats as the Unreal gear from the Polaris raid. However, that doesn't mean this event doesn't have its fair share of issues. First, while it is fairly quick to earn your points each day, the con is that because this event lasts a full month, there is a decent amount of pressure to log in and complete it every single day so you can max out your rewards and the community progress. And that can feel like a big commitment when compared to only having to participate in the week-long events. Then there's the community progress aspect of this event. As much as I love the concept of the whole community coming together to work toward a shared goal and earn cool new rewards, in practice this ends up being really frustrating for individual players. When only your individual progress in an event matters, it's totally up to you how much you want to participate and thus what rewards you earn. However, with community progress, you can work your butt off every single day participating, even using multiple wizards to earn event points in hopes of helping with the community progress. But if not enough other people participate, you may still not get any rewards, which is super irritating. And while I can't be sure, already the community progress just to get the first wave of rewards isn't looking too great. That bar has not been moving much day by day, so I'm not super confident at this point that we'll even be able to earn the top rewards like the permanent mount. I'm not sure what numbers the devs have programmed in that the community needs to hit, but it's not a great look when during the first ever launch of this event, when you'd think community interest and participation would be at their highest, we already appear to be struggling just to hit the first wave rewards. And if that is the case, I don't even want to think about future events when community interest will be even less than it is now, especially if they don't continue to add new rewards to earn. I'm kind of hoping the devs maybe adjust the numbers once they kind of see how many people are participating, but man, it's gonna really suck if we can't unlock everything because there's not much interest in this. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm really interested in the permanent mount and cosmetic gear, so I hope we get more rewards over time, or I'd probably only want to participate in the event just once. It's also frustrating that we can't trade the Fight Fest coins between wizards. I find this decision weird because we're allowed to trade fortune coins from Portal of Peril, which operate really similarly, so I'm not sure why this change was made. It's also unclear if the coins can still be used after the event is over, or if Manfred will just disappear, so it would be nice to get some clear communication on that front. Then I also feel like another potential issue that would explain the lack of community participation is that King's Isle just didn't really promote this event a whole lot. Like, I actually double checked on Twitter and Discord, and there isn't a single promotion for it. I've seen plenty of people who didn't even know it was active or what it was. So when you have something that literally requires a bunch of community participation, you're kind of dooming it to fail when you don't tell people it's happening or encourage people to take part. They only finally started promoting the event on August 7th, a full week into the event starting. I feel like KI honestly should have had a new promo on Discord and their social media channels every few days with an update on the community progress and what rewards people can get in each wave. Because otherwise people just don't even know it's happening or what cool stuff they can get by participating. However, if all that wasn't enough, then of course we have the many bugs plaguing this event, which seem to be almost inevitable at this point. As discussed previously, every single update in recent memory has had its fair share of major and minor bugs, and this event is no exception. First and foremost, the event launched with a bug where lower level players were not scaling up to the correct level for higher level worlds as intended. KI did quickly acknowledge this issue and advise that people should be mindful of what your group's level is when forming teams. However, the issue is that often the teams fill up so quickly that you barely get a chance to see what anyone's levels are before being put into an instance. And while lower level players could obviously opt out, I don't think it's fair for them to not get event points and rewards just because the event was bugged. So in practice, this led to a bunch of low level players getting placed in high level instances and everyone just getting one shot, so that's fun. I was initially hoping that the devs might consider tweaking the event to only include first Arc world until the bug was fixed, but then immediately after the featured world was Imperia, which just exacerbated the issue. So basically for the whole first week of the event, low levels just had to pray that they ended up in a group with at least a few max levels to carry them, or risk getting team wiped. There was also a period where you could actually get event credit by teaming up through the kiosk in a non-featured world, at least for the second activity on the event pass. For example, my death couldn't team up for Imperia through the kiosk because I wasn't a high enough level, but I was able to team up in Avalon instead and get credit anyway. That was definitely not intended, but at least you could earn some points that way, so that was actually a weirdly beneficial bug at least. However, there's also another issue with long loading times that KI also acknowledged in their initial statement, but it seems potentially more complicated than that. Obviously, with long loading times, players sometimes take too long to load into the instance, and other players may have rushed ahead and already finished the fight, meaning you don't get credit. But then people are also reporting not getting credit for the event as a free-to-play or crowns-only player. As a free-to-play player, you can actually access teamup for the event to get points, but apparently you get a pop-up to sample the zones so you can access the areas without buying them. But this pop-up significantly delays the load-in time, meaning you may also miss the fight entirely since many people kill on the first round. But there are also reports that even if the team waits for you to load in, you can still get no credit for participating, and in many cases event points appear to only be rewarded if you have active membership or already own the zone in question. So while I think the event was designed with inclusivity in mind so that free-to-play and crowns players could also participate, which is great, in practice this isn't working as intended and players aren't getting their event points, which just leads to more frustration. Then there's a few more minor bugs, including the collect coin option at Manfred being finicky, and certain bosses despawning, so on the whole there's a lot making this event feel crappy to play, both from a bug standpoint, but then also the feeling that we're just not making much community progress either. To give credit where credit is due, as of August 7th, KI released a patch that did fix some of these reported bugs. It looks like lower levels are now correctly scaled up, so at least people shouldn't be one-shot anymore. They apparently also fixed some of the bosses despawning, but I'm not sure if that's actually the case because in the very first instance I joined in Azteca after the update, the boss never spawned. They also fixed the event awarding points for teaming up in a non-featured world, but honestly, I think that's a net negative because now, if you're a lower level player, you often literally cannot get the 18 points for teaming up in the featured world because you can't see the team ups at the kiosk if you haven't unlocked the world yet. And let's be real, we need all the points we can get at the rate we're filling up the community progress bar, so this fix is a major turnoff for a lot of players. I just think the player base is really starting to get fed up with all the bugs that seem to accompany every single update these days, and you can see in the official Wiz Discord just so much negative feedback about both the general state of the game as well as issues with the current event. And what's worse is that players are starting to feel like their feedback and constructive criticism isn't being listened to or heard, and they're just basically yelling into the void, which is a pretty crappy feeling, especially when players are really just asking for the game they've paid for and in many cases have played for years to, actually work. Heck, even I feel like a broken record at this point. New updates launch riddled with bugs, the community asks for them to be fixed, maybe a few get patched, but a lot don't. Rinse and repeat. To give some recent examples of issues that still haven't been fixed despite being fairly major, first, there's the Scion spell elements. There's been an ongoing bug where the Scion spells sometimes get unlearned after the spells are upgraded with spell elements, and people actually lose the spell elements in the process. This was originally reported around 5 months ago, back in March of this year, and has still to this day not been fixed. In fact, the only recent change was KI actually disabling the spell elements entirely and freezing the path so players can either use spell elements or refund them. So whatever path you might have had the Scion spells upgraded, you're now locked into it, which is a huge problem for raiders and PvPers who often need to switch which spell element path they're using. And so far it seems like this issue will just remain unfixed indefinitely, which has been extremely frustrating to many players. Well, at the end of the day, I really hope this event succeeds. Part of me is wondering if it needs to fail spectacularly for KI to take a closer look at what really matters to the player base and prioritize fixing their game over pushing out more buggy content. While I'm glad they did at least fix some bugs, that doesn't change the fact that the update never should have gone live with so many issues in the first place. I don't know if they need to hire more programmers or QA employees, but something has to change. Alright, my fellow wizards, that was my review of the new Fantastic Fight Fest. Let me know in the comments what you think of the new event or the general state of the game, and what changes you'd like to see from KI going forward. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it really does help me to make more amazing Wiz content for you all. And if you want to support me and the channel further, you can hit the join button below to become one of my awesome channel members. As always, I hope to see you out there in the spiral, and happy questing.